Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lessons of Life, the podcast where we discuss the laws of mind, the principles that govern our lives, and the one that overrules them all. It's good to get out of karma. Karma sucks. And that's what the 12 laws of mind are. The first two are the only two that really matter. Okay, and all the rest are particular to the nature of the beast. Okay, so they are law. They will happen. And what most people don't understand is, they get sick of this karmic biting ass happening all the time, and they don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to change it. And then they find somebody like Neville Goddard or Joseph Murphy or somebody, and when everybody tells you it's your conscious and subconscious, you know it's not. Okay, you know it's not, because that's what men think, and men, well, they don't think. Okay, that's not their job, and that's being mental. Okay, men think that, they assume that, they believe that. That's the power of ego. That's the power of man. And there's two sides to a coin, right? A heads and a tail. So you have to understand that the essence was whole and complete, and then it created a child, its only begotten son, the Christ, the golden child, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it's the Christ. And it is nothing but good on one side and nothing but bad on the other side. And when it was created, it was put in the lowest realms. Okay, this is where I send stuff for you to destroy. All's working great, it's all, he's putting it all together. He puts all these pieces together. But he knows his ego's down there. Okay, he knows his ego's down there going, hey, you guys up there, you hear me? Hey, I'll give you lots of good stuff. I can do good stuff too. Just bow to me. What do you say? Bow to me. They don't listen to him. Okay. Because they're in their sphere, and each sphere has two that balance it. And when it got to the 13th sphere, that was faith, also known as the pistis sophia, and wisdom. And Sophia is the only female out of all these pairs. The rest are all males. The Christ planned this from the moment that he was born. Out of the essence, he had to make sure his ego was put in its place, and that it knew what its job was, and it was to do that job. Okay? And instead, everybody thinks this mistake happened and all this other, and it's not. It's not a mistake. It's never been a mistake. All of this was predestined, before destiny. Okay? There is no destiny until this happened for men. Okay? Because men didn't exist. All right? They did not exist. We're in the essence. The city of lights is being built. It has these different areas where these authority are over that area. Faith, wisdom, all these good, quote unquote, things. So what happened was, after he finished making all the spheres, it was time to implement his plan. Okay? And he showed his light to this pistis sophia. Just a little glimpse. Look at me. Hey, baby. He had made her just for himself. okay? It was to perform this action. So she saw that light and she stopped doing her duty. She stopped giving faith out to the other spheres. And if she wasn't giving her faith out, then she was ignoring wisdom. So no faith and wisdom was flowing down. Things got stopped up. Okay. And she was at the top. So she's saying, "Oh, light of lights," and she's praising the light and how beautiful the light is and how she wants to be with the light. And there's nothing more beautiful than light, and she's singing her song to the light. And then she decided, because she had a desire, to go within herself and try to create it herself. And this was her mistake, but it wasn't meant to be. When she went within herself, she saw a light. She thought it was the light of lights, and she went to it. And as she got closer to it, she realized it was the false light. It was the light from the lowest realm. Okay, and she fell. And she turned from being desirous of it to wanting to devour it. And that's when she knew she had really screwed up. Okay, so then she gets trapped. And as she fell, all the others fell with her. And some of those that fell with her had already been grumbling and mumbling. Okay, and they decided that, it was better to be a big fish here than it is to be, one of the troops there. And when she fell and all the rest of them fell, the entire thing got spit out of the essence. It could not stay there. Okay, the light was a false light. It's not a real light. They went dark. Okay, and they got spit out. And this is how the universe and all within it was created. Knowing this would happen, okay, the Christ had a lifeline out to the universe with his light. His light was pumping into it. It's what gave it law and order. It's what made the planets move the way they move, the sun being what it is, the moon, the universe. And all of it is perfect, okay? It's all perfect, except when it gets to men, okay? Now, the ego was tricked into making man, okay? And then because it had no more life force, it laid the man down and pulled out a rib, to make the woman, so that they're connected, they're tied together, they're one and the same. One came out of the other. Okay, and then he said it was all good. And he went to sleep. Sabaoth, the good. Okay. So, in that sphere is good and bad. And the good went to sleep. And the bad reigned supreme. And he's going around making men, having them do stuff, killing, murdering, all this other stuff. Wanting what the other guy has, chaos. Chaos reigns in darkness, and it's physical, which is hell for a spiritual being. So the spiritual being was given a poison, okay? And they fall asleep under the yew tree, which puts you to sleep. Okay, and yew's good. And Sabaoth is good, and they're there. They are part of the Christ. Okay, and they're keeping watch on stuff. They're watching the watchers, so to speak. And these were the other Aeon, leaders. And they did some abominations. They made the dinosaurs, and they were a horror show. They made, for lack of a better term, just so that you can understand it, genetically modified God's creatures so that they would be beasts of burdens for their amusement and pleasure and for the things they wanted. And despite this, they had a spark of the divine in them. So they still were kind and generous and patient and helped each other when they could. And this was them helping the Pistis Sophia. Okay, and she came to love the men, the forms. Some of them were not good, some of them were good, but she had faith that Christ was going to save her out of this hell. And she just kept singing to the light. I'm with the light. Get me out of here. Thank you. I know you're going to get me out of here. I love you. I love the light. There's nothing but the light of lights. So these are the Psalms. Every Psalm is a prayer that the Pistis Sophia made, or a repentance that she had, a forgiveness that she made and declared. And even though the Christ wanted to go and save her and help her, he could not until the essence said he could. Because if he went there too soon, he would just burn everything up. So in order to save it all and bring it back into the light, the universe and all within it, had to reach a certain stage of light. So this was the Christ telling us, and he wrote the Bible before all of this happened. Okay, and he gave it to the people. And enlightened men wrote it down. And in the Pistis Sophia, we are told that the only ones that write down the scribes for the Christ and what he said to them was Matthew, Philip, and Thomas. So the other Gospels, while they are Gospels, they're their point of view. And Matthew, Philip, and Thomas is just like a court reporter. They're reporting exactly what the Christ said when he spoke to the disciples about all of this. And when he spoke to them about this, it was without allegories, straight to the point, to the heart. This is what happened. This is what's going on. This is me. This is how I came to be. Okay, and that his mother and quote-unquote father, Mary and Joseph, were praying, and he came out of the light that emanated out of them. This was their role. When he was born, if you read the Bible, it's a child. It doesn't say a baby. It says it's a child, like a 2-year-old child. Okay. And he just was. He was never born, okay, in the sense of a physical birth. He was born spiritually. And of course, because he's never born, he never dies. And we are eternal spirits. He gave his life to us. Okay, he gave us life. He gave us the breath of life. We would be dead things. We would be just, walking zombies, not saying anything, just doing what we're told. No joy, no happiness, but no angst or fear or anything else. Just, slaves. That's it. With no feelings. But it was the Christ who gave us his life. And for men, that is the greatest sacrifice you can make, is to give your life for another. Okay, and a lot of the teachers tell you, about William Blake, I Die Daily, Neville Goddard, Die Daily. It's about changing. Dying really means change. It means transform. You're changing the form. All right, I'm changing the form from this to that. A lot of people like Norman Vincent Peale and some others, it's about overcoming your difficulties with this power of positive thinking. But you're just flipping one belief for another. And in the end, what happens is you're trapped in a corner. It looks impossible. Are you going to cast your burden to the Christ and go free? Or are you going to fall down and cry and moan and, I don't know, kill yourself? Who knows where you take it? Okay, everybody's different, and imagination is endless. So, it can take pretty far. And the Bible gives us every state of being that you could possibly think of. Like guys like Robin Williams, they make us all laugh, but inside they're dying. Okay, they're sad, they're lonely, and they don't feel loved and appreciated. And they think y'all all love the comedian, but you don't love me. If you knew me, you wouldn't love me. You only know the comedian. And that's not true. And of course, you can say you love them, but if they don't love themselves, they're never going to believe you. Okay, they can't. Because they see ugly in themselves. Lack. Right? So Christ made this as easy as he could for men. All right? You forgive. You revise. You rebuke. But the main thing is, let's clean up the remnants of what's left, or it will grow again. Okay? And that's not going to happen. All right? What's going to happen is the universe and all within it's going back into the essence as it should. And that means the lower realm is closed off completely once we get in there. It's coming too. And all the ones that think like men, they get to hang out down there with Christ's ego. And he's dead. Okay. And the rest of us get to have life eternally with the Christ. We're one with the Christ. We're at the top. We're sitting next to God. Because it took the one at the top to save us. We were at the very bottom. We were made to be discarded. We were human resources. Okay, but he fooled them. And he divided us up and put a spark in us and moved us around so he wouldn't know. Diaspora. Okay? And he laughs. He thinks, yeah, sure, they don't get it. They think it's the individual. He. And it's not. It's I, the all-encompassing I. Okay? And when I need I to do something, I say I am. Okay? Now I'm doing. I am wealthy. And I am everyone and everything in the universe. So therefore, I don't do a thing to make that happen. The Christ doesn't want you to do anything to make that happen. He will bring it to you and you sing praises because you know he's the one who did it. Because there is no other. There's only God and his Son. That's it. That's all there is. And the I, the essence, is in the city of lights. And it's the Christ that comes here as Gabriel, as Michael, as all the archangels. Okay? Those bad boys were his ego, and he's already taken care of that. And many of them promised that they would help in the final days with man. Okay? To get the bad boy who wants to stay and be king of earth and men forever. Because they're easy. Okay? And he likes it. He likes being the big fish in the little pond. So it's, that's the one that we have to point out to the Christ. And since he can't see evil from his place in the essence, he's in our hearts. And he's told you it's like, being a shepherd. If the sheepdog wants the flock to go to the right, it goes to the left of the flock, and the flock moves to the right. When it wants it to move to the left, it goes to the right of the flock, and the flock moves off to the left. You are to declare blessings, blessings, blessings. Too many to count. Something wonderful is happening right now when ugly is in your face. You are to laugh. You are to be the exact opposite of what you're seeing. Okay? And if it's just too hurtful, well, then you forgive. Then you revise. And then you rebuke. It just couldn't be any simpler. And he did this for the men. Because he loved them. He had pity and compassion on them. And he did not think it was right for them to be discarded in such a manner that they too had the right to be in the light because of their sacrifices. And so he saved Pistis Sophia, and together they made the Virgin Mary. And she's the one who's the gatekeeper, who decides if you get to go to the treasury of lights or not. Okay, and if not, then you have to go back until you finish. And you have to finish by getting all the caca off of you. That's all. That's all it is. You've just been born in caca, and now you're just washing it off. And you have to understand it's all one. There's only one. Okay, there's only one I am. So when you say I, the universe and all within it stops. And you say am, everybody holds each other's hand. And then you say whatever it is you want to be. And they say, yes, indeed. And they run around making it happen. And it does. It drops right into your lap. You get it on a silver platter. It's brought right to you. Now, you can imagine all kinds of ways that could happen. That's not your business. Now, your business is to declare things are wonderful when it appears they are not. Because that's a shadow. That bad boy's been dealt with. Okay, he thinks you don't know that, but he knows. He's been dealt with. His power is belief. And if he can get you to believe and not think, just believe, don't feel good stuff, feel anxiety, feel fear. Okay. That brings guilt and doubt and all that other stuff. Don't listen to him. He's the ego. He's the adversary. He will help you when you bring the two together. Okay? Now, when you forgive, that forgiveness, you're using the forgetfulness that was used on you, where you would forget the good and remember the bad. Well, now you're forgetting the bad and remembering the good. You're remembering, and it's good. It's all good. So I hope this helps. It's really about how you think, not, you're going to imagine the way you think. So the truth that sets you free, understand by the word truth, they mean principle. It's principle. It's always working, works for all, and never deviates. The principle that sets you free. As a man thinks and feels sincerely in his heart, so shall it be. So when you make a statement such as, thank you for waking me up at 5:30 in the morning, you're going to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Okay, you didn't really think about it much. You just made the statement, and then you did. Well, this is telling you that he's listening. He's always listening. He's always saying yes. So you mean it when you say it. Okay, you mean it. With your heart, you mean it. So I hope this helps. Blessings to you. And thank you. Thank you for being you.